Hello everyone, it's Becca from BEKAHBOOKSANDBUJO, and today we are talking about all of the books I hauled and unhauled in February. I can't believe it's already time for the February in and out. That means that it's March, and time is just flying, as it always does. So we are going to talk about the books that I'm getting off of my shelves for good, and also the ones that I am bringing in. I did haul quite a bit this month. There were lots of opportunities to go shopping, or I was gifted some books from some friends. So lots coming in, not so much going out, but that's okay. I also read a lot, so my physical TBR, I think, went down. Let's chat about the books I'm unhauling first. The very first one is Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen, and you'll see in just a second that I'm also hauling this. I just wanted a different copy. I didn't want the mass market paperback with the actors on the front from the movie. This is not my jam, so I'm unhauling this one only to replace it in a second with a new copy. I am also unhauling The Bookshop of Second Chances by Jackie Fraser. This is one I tried during the mini Deck of TBR-thon week, and I just didn't like it. The two gentlemen that were kind of suitors for the main female character were very smarmy, and I didn't like how they treated each other. They were brothers. They wanted revenge on each other, and the way they did that was yucky to me. So I'm not going to keep this one. And then the next three are ones that I had borrowed from. Two are from my dad, and one is from my old church. And nonfiction is really tricky for me right now. I feel like I really need to be invested in the topic in order to want to read it. And so I'm getting rid of these nonfiction because, first of all, I'm not drawn toward nonfiction, and secondly, if I want to read these, I think I'd likely listen to them and not really need a copy myself. Plus they're borrowed and I want to get them back to their rightful owners. So the one that I borrowed from my church, and I'm actually heading back down to our old town this weekend, so I'm wanting to bring it back, is Searching for Sunday, Loving, Leaving, and Finding the Church by Rachel Held Evans. I feel like this probably has some great information and things that I could learn about my church and why people are kind of leaving that institution of the church. But I don't have any draw to read it right now or any time in the future, I think. So I'm gonna bring this one back to the church that owns it. And then the other two are from my dad. They're both Brené Brown. We have I Thought It Was Just Me, But It Isn't, Making the Journey from What Will People Think to I Am Enough, and Rising Strong, The Reckoning, The Rumble, The Revolution. Again, both by Brené Brown. I was okay with the one book I read from Brené Brown, Daring Greatly, I think it was, and I just don't really have any desire to pick up more from her right now. And they're just borrowed books on my shelves. I could borrow them again. I could borrow them from the library, but I don't need them here. So I'll see if my dad wants them back. If not, maybe we'll just put them in a free little library or something. All right, next we get to talk about the books I am hauling. So the first stack is my Book of the Month box, which I kind of talked about in my reading favorite booktubers favorites video, but we'll just quickly go through them here. The actual pick for February was Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. I really liked Black Cake by this author and looking forward to trying this one. Sometimes the only way forward is to look back. When 10-year-old Ebby Freeman heard the gunshot, time stopped. When she saw her brother, Baz, on the floor surrounded by shattered pieces of a treasured heirloom, her life felt shattered as well. The crime was never solved. Ever since, the Freemans, one of the only black families in a well-to-do enclave in New England, have dreaded becoming the center of another media frenzy. But when now-grown Ebby's high-profile romance falls apart, that's exactly what happens. So maybe a little bit of scandal here, but I just really like the storytelling of Charmaine Wilkerson. So looking forward to giving this one a try. And then I did add another book into my box just because I didn't own this one yet, and I own most of the other books by this author. So we have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is actually my favorite by Ali. It was the best slow burn of slow burns, and I really, really loved it. So I wanted to own it, especially in this version, because I have the other STEMinist books in the Book of the Month version. I have Love on the Brain and The Love Hypothesis. So might as well finish out the trio with this Book of the Month version of Love Theoretically. Then we have a few that were gifted from some lovely bookish friends. I had a bookish shopping / little free library date with my friend Molly, and we always exchange our books first before we put them in the little free libraries if either of us want them. And I did take a couple from her. So the first is The Likeness by Tana French. I've been intrigued by this author and her mysteries, and so I wanted to give this one a try. And then the other one I got from her, she said she could not put it down, was The Last Flight by Julie Clark, which I think it's about a plane. 2 women, 2 flights, one last chance to disappear. I don't know. Sounds good. And Molly made it sound amazing. And then from my dear friend Chloe, she had sent me a stocking for my daughter, Mabel, and put this book inside the stocking. So this is You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This cover just screams like fall romance, wanting to read it in the fall. Can they stop hating each other long enough to fall in love? When Ari and Josh first meet, the wrong kind of sparks fly. They hate each other instantly. Okay, so it's going to be enemies to lovers, and I think I could like it. So we'll give it a try. I only bought 1 book full price this month, and it wasn't really even full price because I got a sale from Target. We have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. It's so beautiful. Like I said, I own most of Ali Hazelwood's books, and I wanted this one. Plus the super cool, like, swimming sprayed edges, or pool sprayed edges, are just gorgeous. This is Allie's first foray into sports romance, and that is the craze right now. I think I will like it. I've been enjoying some sports romance that I've tried. A competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. Oh yeah, let's give it a try. The rest that I have are all books that I got from used bookstores or library book sales. So these 3 I got in my town at our library book sale. The first is Summer Romance by Annabelle Monahan. I don't know much about this one. Benefits of a summer romance. It's always fun, always brief, and no one gets their heart broken. Well, we'll see if that's actually the case. I heard good things about this one from my friend Jane, I think. So, hope I'll like it too. Then, I can't pass up a Titanic book when I see it. If you don't know me, I love all things Titanic. I do a Titanic vlog every spring, and maybe this one can make it onto the TBR for that vlog coming up. This is The Second Mrs. Astor by Shauna Abe. It's going to be about Madeline Astor, who is the second wife of Jack Astor, who was on the Titanic. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sure it'll be good. And lastly, I'm really intrigued by this one. I don't know if it'll be a book for me, but I want to try. So it is The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay. The thing that is most intriguing to me is the little annotations in the margins and how it looks like somebody is annotating this. I don't know much about it. A cleverly voiced psychological thriller about an unforgettable and unsettling friendship, with blood-chilling twists, crackling wit, and a thrumming pulse in its veins. I don't know. We'll give it a try. And this last stack I have is all from secondhand shops or library book sales, and it's when I was on that little book date with Molly. So the first I picked up is The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I've actually already read this, and I would say it's probably one of my favorite middle grades, about a girl and her brother, I believe, who are sent to the countryside during the London Blitz. And it's just a really, really great historical fiction. And I wanted to add it to my shelves so that I can read it in the future, or my children can read it in the future. Here it is, my copy of Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. I like this version much better. The circus aspect is there, and it's not the mass market paperback that I hate. So this will be going on the shelves. Another book I've read, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. That name always gets me. I had a copy of this book, but it was an abridged version for children, and I just wanted the full-on copy. So whenever I saw it, I was going to pick it up, and I found it for like $1 at a library book sale. So yes, I might be reading this in March for middle grade March because it's one of our buddy reads for that readathon, but I'm happy I was able to find a copy, and such a cute one too. I like this cover. I needed to complete our Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. We were just missing book 4, so I found it in the right format version that we had been collecting. This is Prince Caspian. Another book I just wanted to have because I love it, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. This is the most sad and tragic story I've ever read. I remember just bawling. I don't think I have watched the movie because I'm too scared to, because it will be sad. But this is about 2 boys who meet during Nazi Germany in the 1940s. One is in a concentration camp and one lives just outside of it. And whew, it is painful, but amazing. So, have my own copy now. I picked up this beautiful book called Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. When this first came out, I heard really great things and then haven't heard much since, but I know it is about a young boy who survives a plane crash and nobody else on the plane lives. So we are following him after the fact and how that affects him. And I'm sure it'll be a tearjerker, but you know me, I like books that make me cry. So I'm excited to own this one. I got The Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. I realized later on that this is an ARC, and I purchased it. I was kind of bummed that the library was selling it, but that's okay. The Twyford Code is, I think, Janice Hallett's 2nd book, and I know that she plays with media in her books, so it looks like there's audio files and text messages and all sorts of interesting things. So I definitely want to read The Appeal first, but then I'd like to also try The Twyford Code. And lastly, I got Still Alice by Lisa Genova. I haven't read anything by Lisa Genova yet, but I'm really interested to try her works. I know that she is a psychologist, and so she writes, she's a PhD in neuroscience from Harvard, and she writes about those kind of topics in her books, things that affect her characters. And this one, I believe, is about a woman with early onset Alzheimer's and how that affects her and her family. So I've heard really good things. Again, another heartbreaking one, but one that I am looking forward to try. I forgot one category. I hauled one Kindle book. It is The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This was an Amazon first choice pick, and I love Abby Jimenez. This is just a short story by her. Love her romance and excited to give it a try. So I don't know if you were counting, but that is 18 books that I hauled in February. Feels like a lot, especially because last month, I'm looking at numbers, I only hauled 8. But I feel confident about the ones I'm adding to my TBR, and also love that I am adding books that I've already read and enjoy to my shelves. So, all good things. I also unhauled 5, which is not as many as last month, obviously, because I did the Great Unhaul last month, where I went through read books, unread books, and got rid of like 45 books. So, not as many, but still, this could also be a good thing, because I'm not unhauling books that I'm reading that I don't enjoy. Does that make sense? Like, all the books I read in February, I want to keep because they're super good, except for that one that I DNF'd. So the book math, it's working in my head. Now that we have covered the in and out numbers, let's look at how the TBR is standing. Let's just check in with the end of January and where we left off. I had 195 books on my physical TBR. Then on my Kindle, I had 48 unread books, and I had 21 unread borrowed books. Now, at the end of February, I'm happy to say that my physical TBR went down to 191. The Kindle TBR went up 1 with The Fall Risk, and my borrowed TBR went down by 3, so we are at 18. Again, that 191, 49, and 18 add up to a total of 258 books, which I don't think I said at the end of January we had 264, And now at the end of February, we're at 258. So we still are at a net negative. Even though we added so many books, I read a lot off of my shelves and got rid of a few that I hadn't read, making our total 258 for the end of February. That 200 goal is becoming much more attainable in my brain. Like, I can see it. I can see 58 books away. So this is amazing. I am making progress even when I'm adding books to my shelves. And I feel now that I had this like huge haul in February, I might take a little break from adding books to my shelves. At least I don't have any plans of going on big book shopping dates with any friends in the future, but who knows what we'll find. Stay tuned and you'll see how the numbers are doing at the end of March, and if I held myself to not buying books. We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have read any of the books that I hauled or unhauled and what you thought of them. I would, as always, love to have some bookish discussion with you down below in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.